Hello everyone. Today I'm going to do a potting video of my Philodendron Verrucosum. I've had this plant for maybe 2 months now. I bought it from a private seller. Came in this plastic cup with sphagnum moss and perlite. It's since put out about 3 leaves. I've kept it in a plastic Ziploc bag to keep the humidity high. And it's actually growing roots from some of the upper nodes that are just simply exposed to the air because of the high humidity. Um, I've transferred it to a glass cookie jar or a cloche, and it's been doing well in there as well. But today I'm going to take it out and put it in some soil. So I'm going to share with you guys that process. So this is just a cookie jar that I bought for $5 off of someone who was trying to get rid of it. And it's been pretty handy at keeping the humidity high. Don't really even need to water the sphagnum moss. The water just kind of stays in the jar and goes back to the plant. So let's take it out and take a look at it. Okay, let's get everything set up. First, we're going to need the pot, and the pot I'm using is a plastic 6-inch pot with a saucer with drainage holes. I'm going to put a little mesh over the holes so that any soil won't drain or will leak out of the pot when each time I water it. We're also going to need the plant, a tray to keep everything clean, and I have my soil prepared off to the side. The soil that I use is store-bought cactus and succulent mix. I add some perlite to it. I add some orchid bark just to help with the drainage. Orchid bark also provides nutrients for the plants as it decays over time. So here we have the verrucosum. I've taken it out of the plastic cup. And we're just going to gently loosen up the sphagnum moss. The roots have grown and attached itself to the sphagnum moss and some of the perlite, but we're just going to gently remove it. I do that because I'm worried that the sphagnum moss is going to hold too much water if I just stick the whole thing in the pot, and I don't want any root rot. And the root system looks pretty well developed, so I think it will be okay if a few small pieces of root gets broken off, but I will do my best to not take those off. We're just gonna rinse off some of the roots here, so to get rid of the remaining sphagnum moss and perlite bits, so that the roots are nice and clean. So here we have the pot, and we have a little mesh. We're gonna put this mesh over the holes at the bottom of the pot so that dirt won't so easily leak out onto the saucer every time you water it. Okay, we're ready to put the soil into the pot. This is store-bought succulent and cactus mix, to which I've added perlite and also orchid bark. I fill a little bit at the bottom first so that there's a buffer zone for the roots so they're not just touching the bottom of the pot. Okay, let's set our pots in the middle, and we're going to take our plants and put it over the soil. I'm going to try to loosen up the roots in a way that they're spread out more evenly so that they can reach all corners of the pot and evenly absorb the moisture. I'm just trying to figure out, what angle I'm going to put this plant in so that it will grow upright. So I've made a little hole. I'm going to stick the roots in there. I'm going to tuck the soil over and around the roots, kind of secure the plant there, and I'm going to add some more soil on top just to make sure the plant is where I want it to be once I'm done potting it. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit more orchid bark over the soil, and I'm going to add a cocoa coir pole so that it has something to climb onto as it grows. And the orchid bark will break down over time as it decays and releases nutrients into the soil. Orchid bark also provides a cover for the water, or it will prevent moisture from evaporating as quickly. Also, I feel like the orchid bark also serves as sort of a physical barrier to fungus gnats from getting into the soil. At least that's my thought process on that. Here we have the cocoa core pole. It's not the same as a sphagnum moss pole. The sphagnum moss pole, I think you would water it so that it provides moisture for the aerial roots. But this cocoa core pole doesn't really hold water well, even if you water it. But I just needed to keep the plant from keep the plant growing upright. So I've kind of just stuck it down the center. I kind of knew where I laid the roots, so I wasn't too worried about the stake damaging the roots. So I just kind of pat the soil around the stake and make sure that it's secured. And once I water this plant, once I put water into the soil, it's going to compact it a little bit more, and it's going to keep the pole even more secure. Alright, here we have the finished product. Just going to turn it around so you guys can see what it looks like. I have all the leaves facing one side. That's because when you have light source from a window coming in a certain direction, all the leaves are going to want to turn that way anyway. So I just have them all on one side for convenience. And we're going to water the plant. I'm going to completely saturate the soil until water comes out of the drainage hole at the bottom. You always want to pot with drainage holes because you don't want excess water sitting at the bottom, which will cause root rot. These aeroids really require well-draining soil. So always choose a pot with drainage holes. Alright guys, I just wanted to show you guys my Philodendron Majestic as comparison to the Verrucosum. The Philodendron Majestic is actually a cross between the Philodendron Sodyroi and the Philodendron Verrucosum. The more mature leaves here at the bottom, they're darker green, but you can see the new leaf that just came in bears a lot of resemblance to the more mature Verrucosum. You can kind of see that light kind of lime green, neon green veining pattern shared by the Majestic as well. Okay, so I have that leftover sphagnum moss and that plastic cup from the Verrucosum. I'm going to take my new anthurium warocqueanum that I just ordered from Indonesia, and I'm going to reuse this sphagnum moss. So I'm going to pot it in the plastic cup, and I'm going to put it into the glass cookie jar basically, just to let it grow, let it mature, keep the humidity high. I don't use a humidifier in my home. I feel like it's just, it might just cause, mildew or mold around the area. And I just don't want to deal with that hassle. So, from what I've seen and read, the warocqueanum requires high humidity, and they brown easily. And but I have seen someone successfully acclimated to more ambient temperatures, ambient climate with lower humidities, such as up here in North America. So I'm excited about this one, and I've been wanting the anthurium warocqueanum for a long time now, but I was hesitant because, I didn't want it to die on me. So I ordered anthurium chrysalinum and clarinervium previously, and those two have been, doing really well in Northern California, indoor weather, and they haven't experienced any browning. So we'll see how the Queen Anthurium does. Alright, I'm going to put this into the glass cookie jar, and maybe I'll do a video in the future once it's grown bigger. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.